Guys, am I audible now? I hope I am. All right. Yes, Harsh, I agree this chat box should have emojis. I checked with the Digital Vidya team. Looks like there is some issue which other batches are also facing with GTM. I hope this doesn't happen again. I am on a very good internet connectivity. It's just that it drops and then picks up again. All right. Yeah, so I was talking about how having an objective enables us in cutting data into pieces, not just to learn where to focus on, but also to find out what large piece of data should we learn to ignore. Because only when you ignore a large chunk, you get focused. So when I log into web analytics dashboard or Facebook insights or SAP data or business intelligence softwares, you should log in with an objective, navigate to the right report, find an answer and exit. Because if you keep staring at data, you will start getting insights. However, you may not get an insight that is most productive. That's all I wanted to say with this school of thought. So we have spoken about three things since morning, right? We've spoken about analytics versus intuition, analysis versus scale, and having objectives without which analysis is useless. Coming down to scope, we have been using the word analysis and analytics interchangeably. What is the difference? So before we take this break, I would probably need 15 more minutes or 10 more minutes from your time, and then we can take a good pause, like a long break, to digest what we have just learned. Analysis is common sense, or as the definition says, the process of decomposing complex things into simpler things is called analysis. Because only when you look at a larger picture, you break it down to small, you better understand it. Analytics is exactly the same, but there is a element of usage of technology, and it helps us explore the future as well, which means it helps us in making decisions for the future, which may get us incremental improvements or which may be wrong completely. But analytics is use of technology to do the same thing so that we get some guidance in decision making. Now, at this point, I am adding the word web against the word analytics and collectively calling it web analytics, coming to the scope. If you ask a random somebody walking on the street, okay, random intelligent somebody walking on the street, what is web analytics? Then probably the answer is going to be understanding the behavior of people who come on my website. And they're not wrong. It is a right definition, but only a partial definition. It's not only understanding behavior, motivation of the people who come on your website. It's also to understand the impact of website on them. Let's say if you change the button from blue to yellow and move it from left to right, or maybe under the article don't show comments, under the article show most controversial comments on top, or change the font and increase the white space. Your website audience will completely change at first. Later, the same people will behave differently and they will take different decisions on your website. So what changes on the website could have been made so that they become favorable in behavior is also a definition of web analytics. Simple. Now here is an example of the same thing. One of my friend who runs a business or a cafe in Mumbai thought that if you give your customers good, healthy, tasty food or quality food, number one. Number two, you give them amazing service. These two things are enough. Okay, the third thing is hygiene. If you give these three things to a restaurant or a cafe customer, your business will flourish. And that's exactly what he did. All his tables were filling up. In fact, on Friday evenings, there is a waiting time before this you get a space in this cafe. Now he asked me, what is it that analytics can do about it? I mean, this is how the business is done. Okay, so Neil says, can you repeat? Voice is breaking. Is the voice breaking for all? Okay, so I will try to be slow and repeat everything again. Yeah, so this friend of mine who started a cafe thought that if you give good quality, tasty, and healthy food, give amazing service, that means quick food delivery at the table. And the third is cleanliness and hygiene. Then customers will start coming on your desk, I mean, on your hotel. And of course, there was a waiting period. Then he asked me, what can analytics do to help my business? So I said, maybe nothing, but let's just look at your data. So he was using some invoicing software. So just by looking at this invoicing software, we did some averages and came out with one simple insight, and that's a real insight, that one table in his cafe was giving 3 times the revenue of the average revenue coming from other tables. And that's the real insight. He never knew about it. There was this one table where people sat longer, they ordered for more, and always the profit margins were also very high, not only revenue from this table. Now, later, once this fact is there, appeared on our table, we then start looking for justifications, as in previous cases. Maybe the table is near the balcony. Maybe the view is good. Maybe it's at the right app decision where the couples and lovers can sit and whatever. But the insight from this table, whatever justification are there, the first thing is that no matter whether there is one customer or many, that table should always be occupied because it always gives you that much money. Later, whatever works in that table can be replicated in other tables. And therefore, the revenue can go up. Yes, it went up incrementally. That's the example of just by moving the tables in the cafe, your revenue may go up. Just by changing the way your website looks and feels, the customer or the user may behave differently. So web analytics can give you answers such as where the people are coming from, what are they liking to read the most, or what do they not like reading most, what content are they liking, how much time are they spending, are they sharing it on social media or not, and how are they coming on your website? Are they coming from social media? Are they coming from referral sites? Are they coming from emails and SMS and highway hoardings and whatever? And are they really signing up or purchasing, or are they really doing what you want them to do, or they just doing window shopping and everything else? These are the one of 4 or 5 of the various things that are possible. Google Analytics is one such tool out of 1,000 other tools available in the market. An odd one out because it is free. It is free for small and medium businesses. In fact, free for large businesses as well. Uh, Beyond a point, it's a freemium model. Beyond a point, if you want to move to a paid model, you can move. But when I say odd one out of the other tool, because it gives you immensely more powerful capability in its free version itself, which many tools in paid version also don't give. There are other tools like Adobe, Sitecore, Crazy Egg, Alexa, SimilarWeb, and many more. We'll talk about them later. So what essentially web analytics does, let me give you an example. For example, if you go into a Mercedes-Benz showroom, or let's say you are the salesman at the showroom, let's now start looking at ourselves on the business side. When a customer walks in, the customer motivation is largely a mystery. We don't know whether this customer has already visited a BMW showroom or not. We don't know what is the comfortable price point. We don't know which cohort the customer belongs to, or which segment the customer belongs to. Is the customer coming from engine power or luxury or safety or show off or family legacy? What is the reason for purchase of this car? We have to discover that at the showroom. But when somebody comes at your website, You can capture all of this by just observing the user's behavior, not even asking. You make them play a game, let them choose the features, let them compare the prices of the various features so you know what price they're comfortable with. And if they're coming from similar websites, you know what their interests are, you know what their age bracket is, you know what their gender is, you know what their interests are, everything else that web analytics offers. And tomorrow when they sign up for a test drive, and while you're sitting with them next to the driver's seat while they're driving, you have all these observations listed down already before you can make the right pick. So I hope in the last 1.5 hour, approximately that long, yes, with two small power breaks, which happened organically, we didn't plan for these breaks. So last 1.5 hours, I am hoping that you guys are now, I mean, you guys know web analytics a little bit more than what you knew before 1.5 hours. Your knowledge has is risen a bit. You can now talk to your friends about what web analytics is, and that was essentially the objective. I'm hoping people here have understood a bit about what web analytics is. Per se, uh, what analytics is, right? Now, if this base fundamental, we have created this platform when we know what analytics is, let's now step up on this base and create another base on top of it, which is we should now talk about what are the basic terms that every analyst must know and eventually every digital marketer must know, and I would say a business owner should know. But for that, we will take a break. I have been speaking for 1.5 hours. I will just go prepare a cup of coffee for myself. You guys also take a break. And if you want to revisit, revisit. All of these presentations and everything is available in your learning management system. Harsh says, I think that cafe business goes up because of Vastu Shastra. Oh, yes, Harsh, you know what? If you learn about Feng Shui, learn about Vastu Shastra, learn about astrology or anything, or numerology, a lot of it from an analytics perspective are justifying a certain behavior, which is a mystery. And when you find a justification of a mystery, you sometimes term it science or a proven business. For example, uh, if I'm getting bad luck because of some reason I've not been able to make good money in my job or I'm losing my job, so we'll call an astrologer and the astrologer will come and say, okay, all of this is happening because the toilet is in the east corner of your of your house. So basically, when you think that you have discovered a justification, you try and execute it. So it's more about facts when we talk about analytics. And if we find a right or a wrong justification, it helps us take the next step. Even if the justification is wrong, you will still take an action. You will change the size of your toilet and the position of your toilet. You never know not anything will change or not. But you will still believe in it because that's the only thing you can hold on to. Harsh, you're going to do exactly the same with your digital marketing business. And you may just not call it Vastu Shastra, you'll call it digital marketing. You'll get some inferences, you will take some decisions which may be wrong or right. Harsh, am I audible now? All right, I think I'm audible to others. Okay, okay, Harsh. So let's take a break now. It has been a good 1.5 hour. Let's take a 30-minute break or 28-minute break now. Let's meet at 12 noon sharp IST. So people coming from outside India, uh, take that time to prepare a good cup of coffee. Very important to eat and drink in between session. See you guys. Don't be late. Exactly sharp 12 we'll start. See you on the other side with other interesting side of analytics. See you guys. Bye bye. Don't be late. Hey guys, I hope all of us are back. All right, great, wonderful. Okay, so I hope you guys had a good screen.
Muted. Unmuted.
So in the next 1 hour or so, which is the time we have left, we are going to talk about the keywords every web analyst must know, starting from very simple words, and we'll slowly increase the complexity. But the idea is to make everything very simple. And I'm hoping by the end of the day today, we will have enough confidence and knowledge about these words, and whenever somebody talks to us in the vocabulary, we will have complete understanding of what the other person is talking about. Or if we are reading something out there online, then we know what we are reading and what all of this text means. Vishesh says audio slow. uh, can audio be slow? I think, should I increase my volume or should I speak slowly? Okay, so I'll come closer, and I think so today I had my mic a little tampered. So in the next session we'll have a new mic. Hopefully, my voice will be much clearly audible next time. Okay, so let's start with first simple words first, right? Let's talk about a visitor. Let's say Vishesh comes to my home. He rings the bell or knocks my door. I walk up to the door because it's my house, I'm inside. I open the door. The first thing I do is exchange greetings and we ask each other's name as if we are meeting for the first time. And after getting comfortable, I will invite Vishesh in. The moment Vishesh comes inside my house, he steps in, he becomes a visitor to me. In the digital world also, things work very similar, if not the same. If you go to a website, if you open a browser and write digitalvidya.com and press enter, that enter is like ringing the bell or knocking the door. But in the digital world, nobody will ask you who you are before letting the user inside the website. We'll talk about if they don't ask you a name, how do they give you a new name? We'll talk about that in a while. But the moment you press enter on your browser, a beautiful looking website opens up. That means you are inside a digital home of somebody. You have become a visitor. In the physical world, it's a person. In flesh and blood, it's a real person. In the digital world, also, it's a person in real flesh and blood. Uh, Sometimes also referred to as a user. Google Analytics has changed the terminology from visitor to user. Slight difference between the two, not applicable as of now. We'll discuss the difference between the two in a while. So different tools use different vocabulary or use a user or visitor. Now, once a visitor comes inside my house, a visit begins. For example, when I open the door, Vishesh comes inside my house. He can then do a host of things. He can go sit on the couch, pick up the remote control and switch on the TV. He can go to the kitchen. He can go to the balcony. He can go to the washroom and bedroom and sleep. Once he had access to my house, he has access to everything that is inside my house. Until Vishesh leaves my house, the visit is running. So a visit is basically the sum total of all the interactions that he is having with my house, everything that he's doing. So in the digital world also, the collective interaction or anything that a person does on the website till the person leaves is called a visit. A visit ends, when the user leaves the website or ends the browser session, or basically exits the website. In the digital world, the session ends in two more scenarios. One is staying inactive for 30 minutes will end the session. All right. So, for example, if Vishesh is on digitalvidya.com for, let's say, he's just started surfing the website and then he gets a phone call. That phone call is, let's say, 45 minutes long. He comes back to the same website and starts surfing from exactly where he left. Nothing will change for Vishesh. It is going to be seamless surfing web experience. And the backend, it will consider as the same visitor starting a new session or a new visit. Because in 30 minutes, if you're not doing anything on the website, that means the website will assume you have left. In many cases, there are certain web pages where you cannot consume the content in 30 minutes. For example, let's say when Vishesh went to digitalvidya.com, one of the web pages has a YouTube embedded video of 45 minutes. It's a short movie, let's say. So after pressing the play button, it will be the YouTube player that will play. The website is idle. And he is actively engaged. He's watching the entire video for 45 minutes. But exactly after 30 minutes the video has run, the website will assume that Vishesh as a user has left the website. But in actual, he is very engaged with the website through the video. So in such cases, you can change the inactive time from 30 minutes to a bit more. The limit is 4 hours. So anywhere between 1 minute to 4 hours, you can change the session inactive time based on how much content you have to offer. By default, it remains as 30 minutes. The session also ends when midnight clock strikes. For example, Vishesh goes to Digital Vidya at 11:55 p.m. in the night and continues to surf till 12:05 a.m. For him, it's a 10-minute seamless surfing. But in the backend, it will count as two sessions. One session that ends a moment before midnight, and the other one that begins after midnight. So these are the three scenarios in which the session will end. And now why is it that Google is doing all of these things? Why is it even required? It is required because long back in about 2004-5 time frame, when a lot of SEO agencies were doing a lot of notorious jobs. Some of you mentioned you are from an SEO agency as well. We'll talk about SEO in some time in detail on how these SEO agencies operate. I'm sure you guys would know more than anybody else. Back then, there was a correlation found between the active time of a user on the website and the search result ranking. Yes, Yogesh, I will come to that point in some time. So there was this feature, or there was this metrics called average time spent on the website. If people are spending, okay, if there are two competing websites, on an average on website A, the average time spent is 5 minutes. On website B, average time spent is 3 minutes. So therefore, website A will rank higher because Google believes that it's more engaging because people are spending more time. So what these SEO agencies started doing is that they created bots and sometimes manually were there on the website to increase the ranking. And they kept doing some interaction with the website. They wrote many algorithms to do it. In 2004 or 5 time frame, almost every website that had a good ranking, the average time spent on the website was 7 days and plus. Can you imagine that? I mean, which user will remain on a website for 7 days, but still the time was so high? So Google did this thing that every midnight the session will end. So at max, what a website will have as average time spent is 24 hours. After that, the session will anyways end. So Yogesh, Maximum time you can be on a website active is 24 hours now. So therefore, many websites had their average session time was 24 hours. Now to counter that also, they said if you're inactive for 30 minutes, it will automatically end the session. So you don't have to just be there with the website open, you also have to keep interacting with the website. Otherwise, you will be assumed you're gone, and hence the second rule of 30 minutes also came. By this Google algorithm, a lot of rankings actually got revised, and only the most credible websites came up in the rankings. So I hope you're clear with visitor, and a visitor pays a visit, and these are the few rules. Now let's talk about an interesting thing, cookies. I'm not talking about cookies that we eat. I want to listen from you. What have you heard of digital cookies or cookies online? If you have, I want to listen from you. What do you think cookies are? What's your definition of cookies? Don't Google it. Whatever you feel is right, just type in and share what you think cookies are. They are tracers.
Cookies can be like the user experience one time while surfing a website.
Okay, so you're saying it improves the user experience while surfing and it is done by cookies. Okay. Udaya says multiple windows. Sunil says caches where website stores its references. Okay, cookies is something the website collects about you, information about you, data. Okay, so all of you are right. See, I'll tell you how did I first stumble upon cookies. I'm sure all of us have seen this. When we click on some hyperlinks in a certain web page, usually when the hyperlinks are blue and underlined and sometimes italics, they change to purple. Have you seen this before? And the links that you haven't yet clicked on, they remain blue. So I was surprised. I thought maybe somebody is storing my information. Even if I delete my history, it still remains. And I'm sure you would have seen this long time back. I don't know what's the average age of the session. When I was young, or when I was like really young, the computer surfing experience actually went slow when the cookies were consuming a lot of storage space. So one techie friend you all had who said go delete your cookies and your web surfing experience will become better, faster. I'm sure we have all deleted our cookies in lives, right? We're talking about the same cookies. Now, Shreyas, yes, websites have started asking about permission to, give you some. They just tell you what cookies are and what all information do they collect. Whether you say yes or no, um, it doesn't matter. You just have to accept it. There is no denying of it. It's just a good practice. See, there is no court or there is no, what do you say? There is no judge on the internet platform. Good websites follow this practice of telling the user what all things are being captured. Now, before I could describe what cookies are, I want to ask you this one question and I want answer from all of you. Better if you would think before answer. What is the most fundamental difference between inbound marketing and outbound marketing? If you haven't heard of these two words, you can say, I don't know. But those who have heard of these words, whatever is your perception, please let me know. What is inbound marketing and different from outbound marketing? Okay, Sunil says inbound means bringing customer to the website. Okay, any other definition? Mohit says customers reach you in inbound. Inbound marketing is user initiated. Outbound is like reaching to the customer. Mohit says outbound is you reach the customer. like bulk email, SMS. Okay. Vishay says inbound marketing means keeping the user inside our website. Okay. Kunjala is saying outbound is a traditional way of marketing and inbound is the new way of marketing. Is it, Kunjala? Okay, so let me ask one subsequent question that actually came out of your definition. When inbound means that customer reaches you, or inbound is bringing customer to the website, how do you do that? How does the user will ever know about you that the user will come to you? For that, you have to do outbound, right? So that inbound can consequentially happen. Or am I wrong? I don't know. I don't know the definition. You guys should tell me. Yeah. So let's just look at a real scenario. Let's say, okay, Vinod says inbound is more about collecting data on your real estate online. Okay, Vinod, nice. See how I define it. Doesn't matter anything how you define it versus I define it. They're all perspectives and nobody is right or wrong. But if we disagree, then you please argue with me. All right, that's how the learning will happen. So, so let's say I throw a party and all of you guys come to my home. Like all of you, all 15 of us meet at my place. But let's say I become very good friends with Sunil. Why? Because we had an amazing discussion on politics. We discussed about cricket. Our interests were same, and so on and so forth. So I connected very well with Sunil, and not as much with others. Though all of you come to my party. Now let's say if I have to reach out to Sunil to become friends with him, how do I do that? I can call him up. I can send him an SMS. I can send him a WhatsApp, or I can send him a Facebook message. All of these are outbound. That is very clear. So I may bug him like 100 times and then he will get irritated. He'll never be my friend. Now, inbound marketing is something which is disguised, but it is even more difficult and more irritating than outbound. So the definition is so corrupted. So let's look at this way. What is inbound? Inbound is that I will call 14 other friends and tell them about I want to be friends with Sunil. So if Sunil calls you, even for a non-related matter, tell them that hey, how good Satyam is. Why don't you become friends with him? That is what is backlinking and keyword mapping and everything else, right? So if you go to a third-party website, it should recommend your website, and you should do have many backlinkings. Therefore, inbound will happen. So now eventually inbound is 14 times more tougher than outbound. Maybe 14 times as irritating than inbound than outbound, because I have to now, instead of reaching one person directly, I'll have to build relations with so many more people so that I can be friends with Sunil. So therefore, looks like inbound is even more tough and even more pushy. But inbound basically means when customer reaches you. And how can customer automatically reach you unless you not do all of this song and dance, right? So let me define it in my own version. You would have all heard of this Bollywood dialogue, right? If you love somebody, let them free, let them go. If they come back, then they are yours, otherwise they are never meant to be. And you can imagine this dialogue in Hindi, right? This is exactly what inbound marketing is. And I mean it. This is what I've been telling my clients as well. But when they come back, they should, or both of you, as customer in business or as lovers, learn more about each other so that your love just deepens further. For example, if Sunil comes to my house by default, maybe he was passing by after the first visit, I will never make the first interaction after that party. If, however, Sunil comes, in the last party, he told me that he likes to eat biryani. So when he comes, I'll make the right biryani for him. And because he wanted extra spice in his biryani, I will make the extra spicy biryani. Then he actually wants to sit in balcony. So the third time he comes, I will prepare right biryani and make him sit in balcony because the view is nice. Then he wants to listen to that kind of music, so I'll put right kind of music. In the 15th visit, I would have learned so much more about Sunil that in the 16th visit he comes, he should feel that he is entering his own house and not my house. Eventually deepening the relationship so much that I know so much about Sunil that I designed the entire experience in my house, which is custom designed for Sunil, without making an extra amount of push. The pull is about redesigning the consumption of Sunil, consumption of information, consumption of experience and design and products. For example, why do we love Facebook so much, despite we all knowing it wastes our time? Because our timeline is so custom designed, it will feed us exactly what we want. When we go to YouTube, when we go to Amazon, it will show you the videos that you would like to watch as opposed to what YouTube wants to push. It has custom designed my experience on YouTube that if I go on a Sunday morning, it shows me yoga related videos. On a Friday evening, it shows me honey sing songs. And on Wednesday morning, it shows me how to do better digital marketing videos. You open your YouTube right now as I speak. It will show you the videos that you watch. Or if I right now open Amazon.in, it will not have the same homepage as it will have for you. Barring the first banner, which is the marketing space, it will show me those bags that I was anyways planning to purchase, mobile accessories, those books which I would like to read, those products I was, this treadmill I was always searching for, and everything else is custom designed to me. If I go on YouTube, it will show me that kind of. In fact, as they say, if you open somebody's YouTube website, it will tell you the kind of person they are because YouTube knows so much about you. How do you design this experience? Amazon pioneered this in 2009 by showing products that people would want to see as opposed to fastest selling product on the shelf. That's what they do not show anymore. How do you design such experience is how I started learning about cookies, and cookies is what help you design this experience. Vidyasagar says inbound is when we use content to bring customers to the website. Vidyasagar, that's what exactly I was trying to tell you, that this is an example of hardcore outbound, which marketers today talk as inbound. See, that's what we are trying to do today. We are trying to weed out misconceptions. If Vidyasagar, you are writing 100 pieces of content in 100 different blogs that give you backlinks, is this inbound? No, it is hardcore outbound, which people today term as inbound. This is what happens when every Tom, Dick, and Harry becomes a digital marketer without knowing the fundamentals and start writing their own blogs and start writing their own definitions of inbound. By definition, inbound is this when they feel like that your business is their home and you have very little to no outbound push. But when you write your own content in different websites, it's different. It should happen that other people write about you, but doesn't happen, right? How many businesses are writing about your business? Maybe none. So therefore, you try and pay other businesses so that they can write about you. That's what is core in digital marketing. And it's very, very corrupted. I'm sure Google in the next algorithm will beat this out. Now, let's look at cookies a little differently. Technically, when you go to digitalvidya.com for the very first time, or any website for the very first time, While a good looking website appears on your browser, what you do not see in the backend silently, this website will drop a small amount of text data in your laptop or in your desktop or in your mobile. This is a small file in your machine which has some data. We'll talk about what this looks like. If you go to the same website again, it will update the previous file and will not put a new file. If, however, you delete that file, it will again put a file. Now, let's talk about the same example. When my friend, let's say Sunil, who came to my house, or Vishesh, who came to my house, the first thing I did was ask his name. That comes very naturally to humans. When you meet the person for the first time, you see their face and you ask their name. These are your natural senses. That's what internet is trying to replicate. So when somebody comes to your website for the very first time, you don't ask a name, you give them a name. Because imagine if every website asks your name for the first time, it's so tricky. People will not give you your name. So it gives you a alphanumeric and sometimes just numeric number. So that next time you come, the website identifies who you are and updates your same file on the new things that you've been doing on the website. This file is called a cookie. Let me show you where these cookies are in my machine. So I open the browser, I go to the settings, browser settings, and then I just search for cookies. Here I go to content settings and cookies. Simple. When I go here, I click on see all cookies and site data. That's all. Now look at how small the scroll bar has become. These are all the websites I have visited since I last deleted my cookies. Let's go to digital Vidya cookies. Is there any? Okay, I searched in the wrong window. Hang on. Let me go back to cookies. Content setting cookies, all cookies. Okay, so here is what I should search. Digital Vidya. It has placed two cookies on my machine. Let me visit any other website. Let's say I was just visiting a client website, universityofcommons.com. It has placed those many cookies on my site. Let us visit which one? Let's say Times of India. Have I been visiting? No. NDTV? No, I deleted the cookie. So look at all of these cookies in your machine. What are the websites you have been looking at? Now, each cookie has some information, right? Each cookie has some information which stores something about you, and they're all designed separately. So maybe linkedin.com. Look at this. Each cookie has some content. And since we are digital marketers, we are not the developers of the website. We don't really need to know the details of these cookies, but every cookie has some content. This content stores something about you. Now, each cookie and each website is designed differently. If you're looking at a random website, you will see some things which are very, 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 very basic. For example, okay, hang on. I think my files are corrupted here because I was doing something this morning. But anyways, so these cookies are generally named as UTM-A, UTM-B, UTM-C, UTM-Z. UTM stands for Urchin Tracking Module. I'm just typing that in the chat window. You don't need to know about UTM as of now. In the fourth session, we're going to talk in detail about Urchin tracking module. For now, Urchin is was the name of the person who started this tech piece of tracing people by cookies. He had a company called Urchin Corporation, which got bought over by Google in 2005, or I think four or five. So UTM-A is the name of the cookie. And if you look at, let's say UTM-A is a unique identifier. Look at how big this number is. We don't need to know, but okay, anyway, since we are here, let me just tell you what it means. So the first number before the first decimal is the unique number given to the domain name. So for example, magicbricks.com is a real estate website. I would have gone some time back. And this is the name given to magicbricks.com. The next number is unique identifier of the user, that is me. So instead of asking me my name and myself saying Satyam is my name, this website has given me a name called 949454972. So every time I go to this website, it will just update the same cookie. After that, these are three numbers separated by two decimals, which are basically timestamps. This was the first time I visited magicbricks.com. This is the last but one. That means second last time I visited the website, and this is the last time I visit the website. Dot one is the number of times I visited this website since I last deleted my cookies. And why am I telling you all of this? This is actually not mandatory, but just that you should know about what cookies are and what they show. For example, now how will I use this cookie? Now, one of my client who is a musical instrument selling website in India, one of the largest. Let me give you an example here. So this website has a very loyal audience. Some musicians only buy from this website. I wish I could share the name, but I don't have the rights to share. How do they use this cookie? So they reward repeat visitors. So the website developer will write a simple piece of code on the website saying that if this number goes beyond 30 in any given month, any given quarter. So if a user is visiting 30 times in 90 days, that means the user is very loyal. If this number goes beyond 30, they show a pop-up, and this is exactly the content that is written there. It says, it seems you love us, we love you too. Here is your 15% discount coupon for your next order. So every time somebody visits, like 30th time, they unlock a coupon code as a reward. How do somebody know it is more than 30 times the user is visiting? By this number. And yeah, so there are many uses of it, not discussing much detail. So this is what cookies are. Now talking about cookies, I mean, let me just quickly refer to it, how many websites are using these cookies. As one of you also said, it is about designing the customer experience so that they come to you often. So websites which are highly dependent on cookies are those which do not mandate logging into the website. For example, Shreyas.com, Vidyasagar.com, or whatever your blog is. If you force people to create a login ID and password, people will stop coming to your blog, right? So therefore, you just give your content for free. Even ndtv.com, timesofindia.com, these are just content websites you can go and visit. You don't need to create your login ID and password. In such cases, if you want to design a custom experience of these people, like show them the content that they really would want to read. Let's say if I read sports section on timesofindia.com, next time I go to Times of India, sports section should come on top. All of this they can learn by my cookies. Then there are those websites which are partially dependent on cookies. These websites are those which have a provision of logging in, but it is not mandatory to log in. Example, YouTube will still show you all the content, all the videos you want to watch without creating a login ID. You can now watch all the videos. But once you delete your cookies and go to youtube.com again, it will start with the default web page. It will forget who you are. But in case you were logged in and watching those videos. Forget about deleting cookies. Even if you go to your friend's laptop and log yourself in there, then it'll know that you have come, and it'll again show you the content that you would want to watch. So if you're logged in, whatever is stored in cookies is mapped to your ID on YouTube server. So everything, all your interests and preferences will go to their server if you're logged in. The third is those websites which are not dependent on cookies at all, like Facebook. You can't access Facebook without logging in, right? So though it does not mean they don't use cookies, they use cookies for designing your ad experiences and show you relevant ads, but the timeline runs purely on your interest and not dependent on cookies because they know so much about you. I remember some time back, I used to read Harvard Business Review and even Economist. These are some content websites which ask you to pay for their content. I don't know whether you guys read Economist, but Economists is they give you a teaser article for free. Like you can read one article, and if you go to the next article, they will ask you to enter your credit card details before going any further. How does Economist know that you have read one article and this is your second one and you have to pay? It is by cookies. And if you're smart enough, go delete your cookies and read the next article. You will save hundreds of dollars. Okay, don't quote me for that. I don't know whether Economist has improved their way of tracking users, but if they're giving one article for free and they know the second one you're reading now, it's only because of cookies. All right. So I think we have spent good amount of time on cookies. Vinod says, how do we access cookies on mobile apps? Okay, so mobile apps also store cookies. You can access them very easily through your files and folders in your Android devices. I'm sorry, I'm not aware of iOS. And you can, the moment you say clear cache in your settings, you delete those cookies. They are individually accessible also, but hidden in your mobile devices. All right, next is time on site. Just because, just like cookies are like tracing you, we also get to know how much time are they spending on each web page and on entire website. Now, page view is another interesting thing. Every time you view a page view is counted. So if you go to the home page of Digital Vidya, it is page view number 1. If you go to contact us page, it is page view number 2. If you come back to home page, it is page view number 3. If you refresh the home page, it is page view number 4. All right. So now keep this thing in mind. The number of page views are always greater than or equal to number of visits is always greater than and equal to number of visitors. So for example, if Vinod is one visitor or a user, he can visit digitalvidya.com on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. These are the visits. All right. Now, in each visit, Vinod can visit page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4. In this visit, he can visit page 27, page 28, page 35, and page 40. In this visit, he can visit, let's say, only one page. So always and always number of page views are greater than the visits and are greater than or equal to the number of visitors. Now, data is also very context driven. What do I mean by that? The same data which is good for certain organization may be bad for another. Here is an example. Let's say on a certain website, let's say my personal blog, I get 1,000 users in a month, and they created 6,000 sessions in that month, which means on an average every user is coming 6 times. Now averages are not real, that's why they are average. So maybe one user has visited only once and the other user is coming 50 times. The average total number of sessions is 6,000 by 1,000 users, And in those 6,000 sessions, 15,000 pages were viewed. If this is my website, I will feel glad. Wow, I'm so interesting to my audience that a user comes 6 times in a month. It's great data. But the same data, let's say if it is for Bescom, which is an electricity payment website in Bangalore, a user goes to this website only once a month to make payment. There is absolutely nothing on this website for engagement. It has a big pay your electricity bill button. You go there and you make the payment. If you are getting this data, 6 times a user has to visit, and on average has to visit 2.5 pages to make the payment, then there is something wrong with your payment making procedure. The number of sessions should be lesser, and the number of page views should be lesser. So sometimes this, let's say if there's the same data for some other company, it may be very good, but for the same data some other company may be crying or cribbing. So to ensure that the data you're looking at has to match with what your expectations and your website offerings are. Yogesh says difference between session and user. Yes, Yogesh, this is where we started. This is the difference between session and user. So a user is the person who's coming to your website. Session is what the user is creating. For example, Yogesh, if you come to my house once, one user has come to my house only one time. If you come to my house 5 times, 7 times, 20 times, then you are the same user, but the number of sessions have become 20. That's the difference between session and user. Cool. Okay, great if you got it. Now let's talk about what is traffic. Traffic is the number of sessions on your website. So we are coming towards the last 15 minutes of the session, guys. I want your focused attention, and then you can go play on Facebook and YouTube. And after that, we are done for today's session. So when I say traffic, traffic is not the number of users. It is the number of sessions. Very simple, right? If you have a car and you go on a drive to your office and come back through the same road, you are adding twice on to the traffic because you're going and coming back. The number of times you take your car out, you are adding to the traffic. It's not about one car. It is about number of times that car get on the traffic. So it's the number of sessions. If the traffic comes when you pay for it, it is paid traffic. When they come by itself, it is called organic. Then there is direct, people who come directly by clicking on your URL or by clicking on a bookmark. Social media traffic and referral traffic, they're all very easy to understand. Now comes an important question. What does SEO get you? Search engine optimization. Does it get you organic traffic or does it get you paid traffic? What does it get you? Okay, Yogesh says organic. Okay, the entire session, the entire batch says organic. That is what I was wondering. Okay, maybe I am not as intelligent or intellectual as you are. I believe SEO doesn't get you organic traffic, and that is what the world has been teaching you. Let's go back to fundamentals, guys. If somebody tells you, okay, anyways, let's do it ground up. Let's take a physical or a real example. Let me take about 10 minutes in explaining why SEO never gets you organic traffic. Then you can disagree or agree with me. And you may already be feeling my trainer doesn't know much. Anyway, so let's say that Vishesh goes to a market. When I say market, I don't mean Amazon or Flipkart, real market, like a Connaught Place uh, or a Sadar Bazaar of your city or anything, right? And because he sees thousands of shops and lakhs of customers walking on the street, he doesn't know where to go and buy the product he's looking for. Let's say he wants to go to a party tonight. Today is Saturday, so he's looking for a new shirt. There are literally hundreds of shirt shops. He doesn't know where to go, which one is the best. So he goes to a local expert. Where is the local expert? The corner shop guy who's selling tea stall, and he's there in the shop market from last many years. So he goes and says, brother, can you tell me where is the best shirt shop in the market? So he says, yes, I know where it is. Go straight, take the first left, second right. There is a shirt shop called Prathamesh Shirt Shop, where you will get the best shirt. So that's what Vishesh does. He follows the local expert, goes to Prathamesh Shirt Shop. He gets a very nice shirt. He goes to a party and everybody likes it. Now Prathamesh over the years will realize that a lot of his traffic, a lot of his users or customers are being redirected by a tea stall guy. He has put a lot of hoardings around the market, but people don't look at those ads. People want to believe in people. And a lot of people in the market are recommending his shop, especially that tea stall guy. So Prathamesh says, let me thank that guy this time because he has given me a lot of business. Now Prathamesh can actually thank him in two ways. Either give him cash or give him something in kind. Okay. Now if he gives him cash, it will become like any other advertisement. Okay, Yogesh, don't jump to conclusion. I can see your comment coming, right? Okay, hang on. Let me share with you a whiteboard. Let's do it here. This is Vishesh. This is the tea stall guy. And this is Prathamesh shirt shop. Big shop it is. This person actually went through the tea stall guy to the shop. And therefore, now Prathamesh says, I need to thank this guy. If this person gives him money, then it will become like any other advertisement because you're paying for redirection, isn't it? It'll become like AdWords or it'll become some Facebook ads kind of equivalent. I think you're already drawing parallels to the digital world. But rather, what Prathamesh says, he finds out that this tea stall guy is alcoholic. He loves whiskeys. So what Prathamesh does, he goes to a nearest tea stall, oh sorry, his nearest wine shop. What he does, he purchases a very good, nice wine bottle and then gives this wine bottle to this tea stall guy. And he says, buddy, you're doing a great job by redirecting traffic to me. Take this wine bottle as a thank you gesture. And this guy, tea stall guy, is very happy. He says, wow, this is the most delightful moment in life. You're giving me alcohol. Don't worry, I'll continue giving you traffic. Now, what is happening in this case? There is a person who is looking for information or a product. There is another person who has that information or that product. And there is a connector. But the connector can be anything. Can be a referral website, can be Google, can be social media, can be YouTube, can be maps, can be anything. In this case, let's just say this connector is a search engine. I mean, I deliberately didn't want to use the word search engine, but since we are talking about SEO, let's talk about search engine. Now, if this shop guy or if this e-commerce website, let's say this person searches for best shirt shop online, Google gives prathmeshshirtshop.com, and if prathmeshshirtshop.com wants to come on top and he pays money to the search engine, it will not be called as organic redirection. It will be a paid traffic. Therefore, what Prathamesh does, it hires somebody who knows how to manipulate this person. Rather than giving direct money, it is hiring an agency who knows the motivations, who knows how this person will behave after giving the right kind of dosage, right? Now, this is a Google search engine, and therefore this is an SEO agency. The money is not paid directly to the search engine. It is paid to a third party this time, which is an SEO agency. And this SEO agency knows how to manipulate the search engine because it knows its algorithms. Now the money is still being paid for user acquisition. The difference is to whom it is paid. Now let us look at it completely differently. Completely differently. Now this may be a fancy story that I'm telling you, but tomorrow, or let's say on Monday, whichever company you work for, go to your marketing team if you're not a part of marketing team already. Go and ask them, what is our SEO budget? If they say a figure that this is our SEO budget, how in the world SEO can be organic? Because you are paying for it. You have a budget of SEO budget in your marketing budget. How in the world can you believe that it is organic when it should directly be in the paid version? Or let's look at it from a different angle. What is the meaning of the word organic? Have you forgotten the basic fundamentals? Organic vegetables, organic farming is in these days. Everybody's talking about it. Organic basically means natural. You sow a seed or plant a sapling, you nurture it for a while until it learns to grow by itself. If you are assisting the plant with pesticides, weedicides, pulling it in the right direction, cleaning it nicely, and everything else you're doing, it is not organic at all. Because organic means something that it should something that should learn to grow by itself. So my question is, if today you stop all your SEO activities, will your search ranking fall or become better, or it will grow? What do you think will happen? My question is, if you stop your SEO activities today, will your ranking fall or will it grow? Everybody is saying fall. How in the world SEO will get you organic traffic? Because organic means something that grows by itself. I want to learn from Shreyas and Yogesh and Vishesh also. Please teach me how not to do SEO and still improve the ranking on Google. I don't know how to. Those who have done the SEO activities, I'm not talking, so Yogesh, I'm saying everything else equal. If you were just doing Google, if you're just doing SEO, if you stop doing it, of course you are doing social media, you're doing paid, you're doing so much. All of that will definitely give you. I'm just saying that be cognizant of the fact. I'm not saying SEO is bad. Okay, I feel SEO is bad. I'm not telling you it is bad. But if you feel SEO is good for you, go ahead and do it. But be cognizant of the fact you are putting in efforts and money for acquiring traffic. It is not organic because you're paying for it. Okay, if SEO was very good, my dear friends, you know what? Google has started to collaborate with agencies across the world, barring the SEO agencies. Why? Okay, have you heard of these new updates that keep coming? Panda update, Penguin update, the new algorithm updates. Why do they even come? Because SEO agencies are manipulating it. So it's like a virus and a vaccination. Now somebody creates a vaccination and then you create an antidote of it. They are always in constant fights. A new update comes, SEO agencies will run for their lives. They will try to now learn what the new algorithm is. They are in constant fight. That's how and that's why the algorithms are being updated. And every time Google learns that SEO agencies have learned their algorithm, they quickly change it. They make it better. So I have never encouraged SEO to my clients because it is a false sense of organic traffic. I'll prove it to you. All right. So let me share with you some real case. What you see on your screen right now is a real estate client of mine, a national, I mean, one of India's best real estate company, gets 55% organic. This was the day one when I started consulting them. And the chief marketing officer was very joyful. Considering the real estate industry, there is a lot of competition. This high organic is very difficult. So he was very happy about it until I asked him, what is your SEO budget? And then he had a frowning face. Here is a 5-day average. The SEO agency fee plus the tools that they were using for SEO was 6.5 lakhs. Their AdWords spend was 2 lakhs. Simple unitary method tells me cost of acquiring an organic session was higher than a paid search session. Isn't that shocking? That somebody who shows here in the organic search is more expensive to acquire than here in the green pie chart. I am not saying that situation for your company can be that bad. I'm just saying that you're paying for it. Just that you're paying to somebody else and not Google. Now then some of my clients say we have in-house consultants, we have in-house employees. Does that still mean we are paying for it? We have somebody who's doing those black hat techniques, gray hat technique, white hat technique. There are some thousand techniques of SEO. Keyword linking, your keyword stuffing, header 1 tag, header 2 tag. You guys should know what SEO is. I'm not an expert. We are doing just that internally. Guys, it's not about money. It's about fundamentals. You are synthetically playing with some algorithm and you're feeling happy because your dashboard says it's organic. Essentially, you're just playing synthetically. You are adding some sort of efforts which should not be added. Then clients ask me, if we are not doing SEO, all my competitors are doing it. Now that's the simple question they ask me. And I'm sure you also will have the same question in mind. If you are asking me not to do SEO because it's not good, all my competitors are doing it, because if they are doing it, I will never get any traffic because they will take the first few rankings. And you know what? This new startup that I'm consulting with real estate, they're very new, competing with those biggies like 99 acres, Magic Bricks and housing and all of those websites. How in the world will we ever come on top because every biggie is doing it? You know what? These bad practices of SEO are so rampant that almost every company is doing it wrong. Google is showing less worse results. With this startup, we focused purely on content. Content which users will appreciate. These biggies are writing content that Google appreciates. So what do I mean by all of this? What I mean is that you as a company are writing content and doing SEO so that you could appreciate this guy. I am saying if your organization focuses for 3 months on writing content that this guy appreciates and not this connector, don't get into pleasing the connector. You will have to spend money. If you write content that pleases the user, the floodgates will open, because the search engine is today showing less worse results. It is looking for something authentic. It will put you on top. This real estate company that we are guiding, we are consulting, is writing video content, is creating image content, is creating a little bit of text content, everything that this user appreciates. And believe you me, in about 3 weeks, we have beaten all of those big organizations doing SEOs based on keywords. They are stuffing real estate industry, they're stuffing FMCG industry, they're stuffing everything else with keywords, not real content. We have beaten just by writing amazing content and Google shows us on top. Vinod says, but don't you think what user is searching ultimately comes from search engine? Absolutely, Vinod, and I'm agreeing with you. But I'm saying you this, but I'm telling search engine is on your side. Search engine is not on the SEO side. So Neil, I'm saying that it's absolutely what you're getting is right. Focus on content. The search engine will come and touch your feet and place your result on top. If you assume Google knows its job well, they're the largest company on the planet. If you think they know their job well, that's why they're there. Believe you me, they will put you on top. Bigger and better and bolder than other big players in the industry. Just because you write content for these people, the user. If you're selling shoes, write content about 500 ways of using your shoes. Show videos, show images, show how they are, good shoes for people who are fat, who are slim, who are athletic, who are non-athletic. Focus on content. Don't just put shoes 500 times and in headers and hidden text. Mohit says, I'm not been able to connect between the two. So Mohit, let me simplify it for you. I don't even know what two things are you talking about. But I'm saying organizations these days are focusing on writing content that Google will position on top. That is a very short-term strategy. And while you do so, you are getting traffic, which you believe is organic. But while you are doing so, it is non-organic content because you are paying to be there on top. The alternate universe, the good universe says, behave or uh, believe that there is no connector. Believe that you just care about the user and everybody else in the universe will start connecting you to the user, is all I'm saying. As they say, if you do the right thing, the universe will conspire for your success. So Shreyas says, so if the content is good and customer appreciates, since customer appreciates, then Google will appreciate and your website will be on the top. Yeah, I'm saying that, Shreyas. Sunil says, if we have to make good content, then it means we don't need SEO. Absolutely, there are two very different things. Focus on content, SEO will automatically happen. There is nothing called as search engine optimization. I mean, everything else, the word itself means that you are optimizing search engine. My dear friends, optimize content. Search engine will learn its job. Hirsch says, but when everybody focuses on content, somewhere SEO techniques will help. And therefore do it. But don't term it organic, Hirsch, is all I'm saying. If you believe that your business is such that you need those SEO techniques, do it. But don't say it's organic. It's definitely paid. All right, guys. So I think we have overshot the session by 4 minutes. So what I will now do is that bid you goodbye and say thanks to you guys that you guys have paid so much of attention. There are a few topics which are left, which I don't mind skipping and putting it in the next session for now. It's good that we are going slow. You guys are interacting with me in the chat session. You guys are talking and unmuting. It's always good to learn slow. When you are learning to drive, I don't know whether your teacher told you that always drive slow if you're learning to drive, because once you've learned the tricks, once you've learned all the steering and the clutch and the gear, everything else, after that it's just a matter of pressing the pedal. So good, you are going slow. uh, Thanks a lot for spending your Saturday with me. The house is now open for more questions, and I've shared with you a hyperlink that is the link for today's session. I would say this is the only thing I would ask from you. This feedback is our bread and butter. So write your name. If you don't want to share your name, write anonymous or write no name or whatever. Fill this box and give your feedback and write in these boxes. Spend about 2-3 minutes. Uh, whether the session was slow, fast, it was not so good, it was great, it was very bad. Please give that feedback because every batch is new. The pace is different. Some people want to learn it quickly, some people want to do it slowly. It will just give me the appropriate feedback to improvise my session going forward. By the way, in today's session, what you've just learned, what you've just gotten familiar with the topic of web analytics and some viewpoints that were different earlier, some definitions that you thought you knew, but they're very different in actual. So I hope in today's 3 hours, you know a little bit more about digital marketing, maybe a percentage more, maybe half percent more about web analytics than what you knew before you started this workshop. And that's all what the objective was. From day 2 or from next Saturday, we're going to jump deeper into the swimming pool. And the idea would be to explore more and uncover more topics. Any questions? Guys, you didn't ask for break. You should have asked for break. We just took one break. But anyways, next time I'll make sure I'll give you more breaks. And yes, Sunil, which question? So are you saying so mixed approach is the best? Is that the question? Does AdWords help SEO? I don't know, Sunil. Both of them for me are makeup of your website. I believe in natural beauty. I don't believe in applying creams on faces, no. So none of my clients I encourage either. So if you feel it's important, please go ahead and do it. But none of them, they're actually equally expensive. So if you have a lot of budget, which you want to spend in very short term, do this. If you have a budget that you want to exhaust over a longer term, then don't spend on either. We'll talk in detail about, okay, I'm not saying these are bad. I'm just saying if you want to spend in very short time, go ahead and do it.
No, actually, my perception was that if we do Google AdWords, it will help us increase our page ranking.
Uh, that's what I'm saying. I have never experienced it. I have also heard about it as much as you have heard about it. A lot of people are telling me the same thing. I have never experienced it. But have you experienced this, Sunil? That especially in Facebook, if you start spending money in promoting your posts, your organic reach reduces because now Facebook knows that you are willing to spend in boosting your posts. So every time I do not boost my post on, I'm just talking about a different platform now, that if I do not boost my post, my organic reach is much lesser than what it would have been if I had never boosted my post. Is exactly what I have learned in Google also. If I've never spent on Google, my organic results are better. But as I start spending more, all of this is artificial intelligence led, and we should all be aware of it. If Google finds out you're comfortable paying and you have a marketing budget, they will push you more for it. I don't know whether that links to
Okay.
your question. According to me, they're not linked.
Mm. No, because my company actually basically they are like in a desperate need of a kind of lead and want to spend in the advertisement and all that. So that is why I thought that if I'm ready to pay for that advertisement, Google AdWords, Facebook, and even Instagram,
Hmm.
so sidewise it going to help me in my SEO also or not?
Okay, so Sunil, I will propose a different strategy for you. Uh,
Okay.
have two teams focus on two very different things. One
Mm-hmm.
team should focus on SEO and AdWords. They should go very aggressive on this. Spend all the marketing budget that you have in lead capture.
Okay.
All right. Set up another team which will create amazing content. So let's say you sell, I don't know what you sell, but let's say you sell shoes or you sell TV screens or you sell musical instruments. Let's say you're selling
We are architects.
architect. You're an architect. So talk
No,
about
no, my company is architects.
yeah, so talk about how amazing architects have changed or have brought positivity in people's homes and businesses and offices. Talk about how architect is as much as important as much it is the construction quality. So focus on content which may position you as a thought leader. Let the second team do that. In 6 months from now, we'll talk about which team and which content is getting you more leads.
Okay, great. I got your point.
Yeah, because you have a very sincere and uh, immediate need of leads today, you have to go to SEO and AdWords. You can't ignore it. But I'm saying eventually in 5 months, 6 months, or maybe 1, 2 years from now, you will get tired of getting wrong kind of leads through SEO and AdWords. You will not have a lot of conversions through these leads. They would have signed up expecting something else because of your push. Your conversion rate will be lesser. Eventually, people who are engaged with your content and strategy and value system, that you are the right kind of architects on this planet, they will engage with you in a completely different fashion. That will come through content, and that's a long term game.
Mm-hmm.
Don't miss
Okay,
out on that.
I got your point. It's clear.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. All right. Any questions, guys? And guys, don't forget to give feedback. Very, very important. All right, then. Thank you so much. See you next Saturday. Have fun. Enjoy until then. Have a great weekend. Bye bye.